Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Kuna. This is the pistol in this format / pistol caliber carbine / submachine gun developed and manufactured by HS Produkt in Croatia and imported and sold in the United States by Springfield Armory. HS Produkt, of course, is the same company that does the VH2 rifles, aka the Springfield Hellion, as well as the Echelon pistols, aka actually the Echelon. It's been really cool to get a chance to look at the development of products from HS Produkt in Croatia over the course of their existence in the last 30 or 40 years. They started at the beginning of Croatian independence in 1991, and their first products were like, oh, they were not very good, but they've done this really impressive job of incrementing up the technology and the quality of their firearms to the point where today they're making some really good stuff. And the Echelon and the VH2 are both really good examples of that. Now, in 2020, they started development of a submachine gun. And they actually started this in .40 Smith & Wesson caliber, the idea being kind of like the HK USP. If we develop it in .40, it's then really easy to scale it down for 9mm and it'll work fine in both calibers. Where if we start in 9 and then we want to bump it up to .40, well, then you get into issues of maybe you don't have enough material, enough mass. .40 is a stronger cartridge that's a little harder to make work properly. So you may also be asking, does anyone actually use .40 Smith & Wesson anymore? And the answer is yes. One of the main contract that exists for these so far, given that they've just basically been released in the last couple of months, or announced in the last couple of months, was the Brazilian police in São Paulo. And they specifically wanted to test an example in .40 Smith & Wesson. So this, in fact, won the competition for São Paulo police, beating out the B&T APC-9. Anyway, fundamentally what we have here is a closed bolt, semi-automatic only, because this is the imported pistol version of it, Delayed-Blowback 9mm PCC, or pistol. It's pretty cool. It has a lot of its mechanical elements are inspired by the Stribog A3 with some improvements. Like I said, this started in 2020 as primarily apparently a commercial project of they knew PCCs were popular and probably going to stay popular or get more popular over time. But it seems like there was also definitely some military aspiration for this project. The police and army in Croatia still use a lot of MP5s, and they're really old MP5s these days, and apparently they've had some issues getting service and support from HK. And so HS Produkt clearly saw that at some point before too long, a lot of the military or government and military forces in Croatia are going to want to replace their MP5s. And if HS Produkt can provide them with a similar closed bolt, delayed blowback 9mm platform, they probably have those military and police sales locked in. Anyway, let's take a closer look at how this actually disassembles and how it works. All right, Springfield is selling this as a pistol configuration like this. It does have a pica tinny section at the back, and it comes with a side folding pistol arm brace, which I've removed at the moment just to make things smaller. By the way, this whole thing comes in at 4.5 pounds for the pistol, 5.25 pounds if you add in the brace. Nice, lightweight, convenient guy. 6-inch barrel on it. This, by the way, is threaded, but we have we've uncranked the muzzle brake. So normally this is timed vertical. We're taking it off because we're going to put a different muzzle brake on it a little bit later on. I'll get to that at the end of the video. So it's offset a little bit right here. That is how it would normally be timed. Let's take a look at some of the markings now. The name of the gun is Kuna. This is, well, HS Produkt appears to be starting to exert some of their independence from their American import partner Springfield, because this is not a hell something named gun. They have actually just maintained the Croatian name of the gun, which is Kuna. Now, Kuna is sort of a mascot animal of Croatia. It's akin to a marmot. And it's also the name of the Croatian currency prior to the adoption of the euro. Actually, it's kind of a funny story. Kuna pelts were used in like medieval times as de facto currency in areas of what is now Croatia. And it became the name of the currency, kind of like the way buck is used as a slang for $1 in the United States, which is a callback to the westward expansion period when a deer pelt or a buck pelt was worth $1. Anyway, we have the importer mark here, Springfield Armory, Geneseo, Illinois, serial number, caliber, all that. And then HS Produkt, Karlovac, Croatia, and the Springfield Armory logo on the left side. Now, much to, I'm sure, some of your dismay, this does use a proprietary magazine. It's a dark, translucent, 30-round, double stack, double feed magazine. Seems pretty good. We got metal followers, metal reinforcement, metal feed lips up here with, you can see how much ammunition is in it, which at the moment is 0. Then all of the controls are ambidextrous, which is pretty cool. We've got our selector lever here, sort of HK style, HK pictogram style. In the military pattern, this is a 3-position, and it also has a full auto setting, but of course, semi-auto is just safe and semi. Magazine release, bolt lock open, very AR style controls. And we have exactly the same controls on the other side. There is a folding charging handle on top that can be swapped from left to right, whichever side you want it on. We'll do that in just a moment. The sights are kind of cool. These are frankly like MP7 style of sights, where if you have them folded down, you have pistol style open sights with a U-notch there and a white dot in the front. And then you can also fold them up and you get aperture sights. So you can zero the windage back here. You can zero the elevation right there. These are perfectly usable iron sights if you SBR this and put a stock on it, or if you're shooting it from the shoulder. These are generally going to be too low to use from the shoulder, but they are appropriate pistol sights. And they give you a backup if you put like a red dot optic on here. You do, of course, have Picatinny running the full length of the top of the gun and a couple of M-lock slots on the front end. All right, now disassembly, pretty simple stuff. We've got a push pin in the back, captive, pull that out to there, and that allows you to pivot down the lower. I can also remove the front pin right there and remove the lower entirely. Got nice solid metal fire control parts there. AR pattern pistol grip. The grip that it comes with has a storage compartment in it, but you can replace this with any other AR grip if you want to. With the lower assembly either pivoted out of the way or removed altogether, we can then take off the back plate. This on the military pattern submachine gun would be the stock assembly. We pull that down and then it pivots out like so. So there's a little notch, a little lug here that locks it into the top of the receiver. This is polymer, the receiver is aluminum. And with that out, I can then pull out a hole. Well, first the recoil spring and buffer assembly, and then the bolt assembly right there. At this point, by the way, I have my charging handle non-reciprocating, and I can bring it here right to the end, pull it out, and I can just put it back in the other side if I so desire. There we go. So easy enough to do that. Inside the receiver, we have a fixed ejector, steel ejector, and we also have a replaceable feed ramp there. Again, that's also steel, so that's going to have much better durability and resilience than if it were made out of aluminum. And then we've got our trunnion located right there. The bolt assembly here does look quite a lot like a Stribog A3 bolt, and this is delayed blowback. So what you have is essentially a single roller here instead of two on the sides like you'd see on HK. You've got one roller up there and a spring-loaded element on the front of the bolt. So when this goes fully into battery, see if you can see it, right there is a little round divot, and there's a matching one right there on the other side. Those two, well, this pin drops into those two. So before the bolt can move backward, that roller pin has to move upward in the bolt. When it moves upward, it has to pull this extra weight in with it. So there's a spring and this weight, that's what's providing the delay on opening. This, when you fire, pressure is going to push back on the cartridge case, which is going to push this whole assembly back, which is going to push these two rollers up against those round cuts in the inside of the trunnion there. That is going to pull this element back as this center roller runs on the curved surface on the inside of that. One of the things they did to improve this over the Stribog is add that center roller. It's got more surface area in contact with the delaying weight, and it also doesn't fall out when you take the thing apart. So this stays together as one assembly. Other than that, you just have the mass of the bolt here acting as your delaying mass. We have a firing pin retainer right there. Pretty much all there is to it. And there you are. There is the new HS Produkt / Springfield Kuna, all field stripped. Now, I don't know exactly what Springfield has in mind for this, but what I can tell you from other information that's available is that in Croatia, this is made available with a 6-inch threaded barrel, which is the version you see here with that muzzle brake on it. They also have a 6.5-inch version that comes with an HK style trilug adapter. And they are planning, apparently, to do a 12-inch carbine version primarily as a semi-automatic PCC. Of course, that would work in much of Europe. In the US, 12-inch isn't sufficient. They'd have to come up with something to get it to 16 or have it as a 12-inch pistol, or I don't know exactly what. Maybe Springfield's planning on doing a 16-inch version. Seems like a reasonable thing to do. They do supply it, of course, with this brace, but there's no reason that they couldn't do other buttstock versions, especially for a non-NFA 16-inch barrel with a fixed or a folding stock. 40 Smith & Wesson and 9mm both currently exist as being manufactured in Croatia. Whether or not Springfield is going to import the 40s, I don't know. Depends if they see a potential market for those. However, HS Produkt has also said that they are interested in and working on developing a larger version, or a slightly larger magazine version for 45 ACP and 10mm. So that would be kind of cool. The MSRP here in the United States is apparently going to be just under $1,000. The magazines, while proprietary, are apparently going to be about $25 a piece. So actually, really, like, that's a pretty tempting price for, I think, the level of quality that we see in this. It's got all the features you would want in a good PCC, ambidextrous controls, Delayed-Blowback system. Looks pretty cool to me. So I'm not doing any shooting with this right now. Please bear with me. The reason is it's currently legally a pistol, and my friend and sometime cameraman Jordan is taking this to Lynx Brutality, and it's way easier to export it and re-import it as a pistol than if it's registered as an SBR. So we're leaving it that way, but I don't want to shoot it on camera with the brace because I'm just not confident how those laws are going to change in the future. Totally different thing. If you have it at home, absolutely go ahead and shoot it. It is right now legal, but I don't want to be the guy who puts up a video that's good till the end of time and then discovers the law changes later. So after Lynx Brutality, we're going to go ahead and register this as an SBR. Hopefully by that point, we'll be able to have gotten the trilug adapter and the military style solid side folding buttstock we can put on and do some shooting footage with it then in its proper military configuration. So sorry for not having any shooting for you right now, but it'll come. We have, by the way, done some shooting with this out at the range. It's fantastic. It feels great. The Delayed-Blowback absolutely does what Delayed-Blowback's supposed to do, and it's a very comfortable shooting gun. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this one. We'll be back a little later with some more on it. Thanks for watching.